Hello, Memorial High School. Just checking in. Mr. Batts asked me to give you guys some comments on the pieces that you've been working on. I know we didn't talk much about that when we met earlier via Zoom or Google, whatever it was. So I took a few minutes to listen through again and just make some simple notes. There's a lot more we can discuss, but I basically want to cover the broader things because we'll have time next year to discuss some of the other stuff in more detail. But starting with the group that did Clockmaker, I want to say that your articulations were very good. The staccatos were just how I like them. We're looking for a very light, airy sort of feel. And the staccatos, as you played them, perfect. Very crisp, very clean, very light. Good, good, good. And then you also nailed that clingy Percy Granger thing that we're looking for with the dotted eighths into the 16ths. That's what we want. We want that clinginess. We want that, you know, bouncing around the workshop, doing whatever. So good job. The middle had a nice flow to it. So the purpose of that middle section is to contrast, and you met the contrast very well. I love the way that you flowed with those melodies. Da, 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 da. That's exactly what we need. And the descending scale in the middle of that slow section, you lined up each one so that we hear a clean, consistent line starting from the top instruments all the way to the bottom instruments. I always listen for that, and you did it perfectly. And the percussion, good interpretation. I know we didn't have all the parts there, so some of the parts didn't interlock as they needed to, but they will once you have all of the players. Um, Things to work on during the accent, the A section. There are some accents there, right? Or not during the A section. At the end of the slow section, going into the second A theme, there's some accents. Bum 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 bum. I'd love for you to make more of those in articulation and dynamics. Very forceful tonguing there, and a bigger ending in that same vein as well. More of a ta-da, it's done after all the hard work. And going into the descending scales, I think it's about 1 minute and 25 seconds into the recording. We want to make sure that we're keeping it smooth and flowing. And so we got a little halted there. That's one thing that we can change. And the clarinets, remember to keep it short. I think there are a couple passages where I hear the clarinets playing longer notes, and it clashes a little bit in terms of articulation because everyone's keeping it short. So that would be a beginning for that. A game of chance. So we want to start with a very big downbeat right up top, right into there, out of nowhere, just bam, ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. So we want that to happen. Whoever did the clarinet solo, nice job, very cool solo. I enjoyed hearing it, played confidently. Thank you for doing that. When the groove comes in every time, the theme, one thing that you want to make sure you do is lay back. It's a term they use in jazz band. It basically means stay on the back end of the beat. Don't be too in time. Don't be too prompt in that so that you get that jazzy big band laid back vibe. So stay back. Don't rush those rhythms and keep the swing rhythms very, very behind the beat without being late, obviously. Trombones. I love the scoops that you did during the Funhouse theme. They helped a lot and they actually contributed quite a bit. I love it. It's a perfect improvisational idea. And clarinets, great job on your part. The only thing I would like is to hear more saxes on that too. I heard you, but I'd love for you to balance the clarinets. During Child's Play, that's the part where everyone's going pop, 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 pop. We're mostly good there. I really like the horn trumpet 3 melody. It was hypnotic, it was consistent, it was very well done. Just the people who have the staccato notes, keep them short, sharp, and staccato. Very aggressive, very sharp and jagged. Tuba, what everything it did was great. I love the melodies, ba 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 ba, and all the stuff that you did there is very clean, very clear, and it sounded wonderful. I love the work you're doing. During the trumpet melody in the middle, where it's ba-da, 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 we have the swells happening in the saxophones and the clarinet. I'd love for you to start a little softer and swell not quite as much. So come from nowhere. Da-da, ba-da, just kind of briefly pulse into there, almost like an effect, more so than a regular part. Now, is there a bass clarinet solo? I think it was bass clarinet. I heard it was really cool. Funny thing is that I originally didn't have a bass clarinet solo written. And I thought, when I found out, one of the schools during my test run mentioned that everyone had a chance for the solo but the bass clarinet. So I was like, well, I don't know how many bass clarinets are ever going to do this, but I'll do it. And for some reason, that's probably one of the most common instruments that does the solo. I've probably heard 4 or 5 bass clarinetists take on that. Good job. I liked hearing it. Also, the clarinet solo. Um, so very nicely done. Floats right over the texture. Good tone, good timbre, good pitch. Great job. At Rocket Fire, that's where it gets kind of aggressive. Bum, 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 bum. I think the tracks are a little off. I don't know if some people played early or played late or played off, but it's not, there's measures between where I think some people should be. So that's not really an issue. We'll be able to fix that pretty easily. I'd like that section overall to be a lot more aggressive though and warlike. Brassy, obnoxious even. And trumpets, whenever you have the theme, I'd love to hear you also be very brassy and obnoxious. Think like 1940s style, growly kind of trumpet. Just get in there and be nasty with it. Snare drum held things together very well, very nice rhythmically, sounded good. Overall, there's a good vibe here. I like what's going on. The Rescue. So the eighth notes up top. So and then under that you have da 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 da. During the first half of the piece, let's keep those smooth and connected. Da 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 da. But at the end, keep it exactly how you played it. A lot more punctuated. Ba 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 ba. So because the beginning part is going to be more flowy, more evocative, just keep it smooth there and then articulate them at the end just like you did. More of the dynamic swells between the solos too. That works well. Saxophones, you did a good job on the counter melody during the chromatic scales. Loved how you did that. It's a nice mood overall that you were able to do everyone on the first half of the piece. It had that shaded mystery that we want. The low brass melodies, those sounded really nice. I just wanted to say I heard those and I was glad how you did that. The articulation choices you guys made overall, I was very happy with. The brass, nice warm choir sound. So overall, I'm liking what you did with the Rescue. For X, up top, we want to make sure that the trumpets or the trombones, the people who have the bum bum ba bum bum, I would love for that to be bold and kind of like a call into the new songs. Very, very assertive, very sort of dum bum ba dum bum bum. The trill people sounded really good. The effect was perfect there. The saxophones after that killed that syncopation. Bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum bum sounded excellent and helped us around a lot. Trumpets during the muted staccato sections, very well in time, very good articulation, very good tone, perfect. Clarinets, I heard you throughout the piece, which I liked. I would love for you to be more confident, though. I want to hear more of you. At the 3/4 section in the middle, you guys did great with the mood there. Very smooth, very flowy, good. The accompaniment under the flute solo, when the flute's going bum 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 bum, and then the people are under going bum bum bum. Your timing was good. Your articulation was good. The mood was good. It was that digital sound we want. I think the flute solo actually was an octave lower than it should be though. Timpani, I loved hearing the stuff that you were doing and the percussion overall on this, great. But the timpani added a lot of drama. It was well played in time, took advantage of the complexity of that. And the flexitone also as well. And also I'd love for the trombone in the middle to be a little jazzy with that melody. Wah bum. Bop, wah, bop, wah, bop, bop, ba-da-da. Get in there and be assertive with that. I love how all these pieces are sounding, and I really am going to look forward to hearing them live when we do it next year, or I don't know if we're going to be doing different songs, but those are some thoughts I had so far as I listened through. It was such a pleasure to meet you all, and I'm going to be really excited to see you in person, Alas. Maybe I'll bring in some steak tartare for you guys to enjoy, or you guys can bring in the squeaky cheese. If you can. That should go well with the instruments, right? Squeaky cheese. So it's nice to meet you all. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a great rest of your school year and an amazing summer.